All right, good afternoon to you, and you're welcome to the program. It is Good Afternoon, Ghana. Today, what's on the table has to do with what the Greater Accra Regional Minister is trying to do with the region. So, Henry Korte, the Honourable Member of Parliament, is also trying to decongest the whole of Accra. And it is actually questioned, let's make Greater Accra work. So in making Greater Accra work, a lot of traders are getting inconvenienced. And sometimes the arrangements to move traders from one point to the other becomes a battle, a fight, misunderstanding. To a certain extent, we have to use the military and the police and all that. There's also another attempt to move the spare parts dealers from where they are to another venue. We'll be giving you some details of what was said by the regional minister on that score. So Alfred Kwesi Opoku is actually the former president of the Ghana Institute of Planners. He will join us here on Good Afternoon Ghana in the studio. And also Clement Boateng is a vice president of GUTA. That's the Ghana Traders Union of Traders Association. He will also join us on this discussion on how this making Accra work is going and how maybe some of the decisions by the minister is too harsh for them and too sudden. We'll see how we'll manage the discussion so that it benefits us both ways. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana. My name is Ania Fompofo. I'll be back shortly.
According to government, the Abossey Okai
All right, you're welcome back to Good Afternoon, Ghana. So we're talking making Accra work and some of the issues that have come up. We have carried a number of them here on the platform Metro TV, where there were issues of moving onion sellers, moving traders on the off the pavements, and I mean it was ups and downs. But I think we've gotten to a point where the people have seen what the minister is doing and probably are ready for any action on any day. And some of them, well, they will combat the decision. Others will refuse to move, and then it turns into a whole lot. But let's see how the discussion will go. I have been joined by Mr. Alfred Kwesi Opoku. He is a policy advisor to the Chamber of Construction Industry now. That's where he is. Remember that he was with the Institute of Planners, but he's still a planner anyway. So you're welcome, sir. You're welcome. Good afternoon to you. We'll also be joined later on by Mr. Clement Boateng, Vice President of GUTA. But for now, let's go for the minister's video on his latest action that he wants to take.
According to government, the Abossey Okai spare parts enclave is currently congested and unfit for purpose. A representative of the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council outlined some components of the envisioned automotive zone for spare parts dealers of Abossey Okai.
And there's also going to be a toll road to link those two, entities. That is the harbour and the hub. Then we have the ancillaries as well. There's obviously the need for you to have various ancillary, institutions like who provide finance, security.
Adding to this, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte announced the creating of a new and spacious automotive hub in the Greater Accra region.
We are looking at what we call the West African Automobile Hub. The Abossey Okai is just around the corner there. It's been there for over 30, 40 years. And that is the brain of Ghana's automobile industry in terms of spare parts and all that. Today, they have outlived the space and their usefulness and purpose of being at Abossey Okai. As we speak, we have about 5,000 permanent shops in Abossey Okai and about 17,000 temporary businesses like tabletops. The initiative and the idea, for that matter, to create a new hub for them at Afienya. Fortunately, the RCC is talking to the Minister of Lands, and we have been assured of about 2,500 to 4,000 acres of land. We are almost done with the processes. Now, over there, we will transform the way they have done business over the last 30 years.
For his part, the president of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Kwesi Eyimdake, also announced plans of engaging the government on financing options for developmental projects in the city.
AGI has followed with keen interest the dynamism of the regional minister in changing our capital city. And I stated that this was birthed out of a courtesy call. And we are determined to extend our support to his vision, plans, programs to attain this set goal. We seek to engage in subsequent discourse with the mayors and the MCs to flesh out bankable projects that we can package through the private-public partnership under the Ministry of Finance, to structure financing options that could assist in attaining this goal without putting burden on government, considering the various developments in the world and in the debt position of our country.
Some investors who also showed interest in projects on the Abossey land were taken on a tour. The conference, which took place at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, was under the theme, The New Phase of Greater Accra, Collaborative Cities and Private Sector Role in Achieving Accelerated Development. Shadrach Odame Ejari, Metro News, Accra.
Report by Shadrach Odame Ejari there. So let me come into the studio and speak with my guest on this development. So you're welcome once again, sir, and good afternoon to you, Sopopo.
Thank you very much.
So, well, you've heard about this Making Greater Accra Work
Sure.
initiative.
Sure.
Is this something that you deem new?
No, it's overdue. It should have been started long ago. You realize that historically, many regional ministers have attempted this Abossey thing, and it didn't work. It got to a point they have to stop in the middle of the operation. And so the plans have been there long ago, but the implementation has delayed for several factors. Some people call it political will or financial or whatever consideration there were. For me, the biggest problem was lack of national support. People in the country will stand up against whichever government wanted to decongest certain areas like Abossey Place, redevelop the place, and they will say that, where do we send them? So the governments of those times did not have the support of the people in Ghana. Even though we all cry for a better space, better planned cities and all, but they were not ready for the cost involved. And so if you are a leader and what you want to do, nobody likes it, they back out. Fortunately, a time has come where the entire population in Accra, especially where the thing is happening, seem to agree that something must be done to revamp the city, redevelop, let Accra work again. And so it was good note to know that the press, the population, everybody in Ghana, in Accra in particular, supported the relocation of the onion sellers in Abossey.
Did you say everybody supported?
Well, you won't get 100% in any case. Those who were there, some of them had to be moved by force, but it's like those who were against it were against the tide at the time. And so this has made the regional minister, giving him some confidence, and he had also the political support that go ahead and do it. So making Accra work again has come to a point where I would say, apart from the political will, the population in Ghana, in Accra in particular, a good number of them have supported the need to redevelop Accra and make it work again. So it's not a new thing, but just that implementation is now being effected more effectively.
So what is different now compared with what was done before by other regional ministers who also made the effort?
Well, about two things. One, everybody knew that the political will was not there, because along the line, when they started implementing the redevelopment, making Accra work again, even the party members of the regional ministers or the AMA executives stood against them. So you would find it difficult to continue doing a project where your very political members say, no, don't go ahead and do it. Others also came close to election time, and people would say, if we go ahead, we will not vote for you. And so they all stopped. The difference now is that, first, the people have seen that this thing cannot continue forever. Accra must regain a certain position where we must grow and present ourselves as a tourist destination center. For example, when the Black Americans came here about 2 years ago, we could see that the country was opening up to foreigners, tourists and so on. In that case, if there's going to be a continuous thing like that, why should we wait and let people come and see us in filth, So this has emboldened the political leadership to go ahead and continue to do what must be done.
Let me pick the thoughts of my guest, Clement Boateng, who is the vice president of the GUTA, Ghana Union of Traders Association. Mr. Boateng, you're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana, and thank you for joining us. The discussion we're just having in the studio, do you agree to what Ms. Opoku have said right now, that we've gotten to a point where we all accept that something must be done about Accra?
Yeah, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers, and thank you for having me. Yeah, I think I subscribe to the submission of Mr. Opoku. Is it Mr. Opoku?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Like I told you, I subscribe. Yes, I subscribe to the submission of Mr. Opoku. I think Accra, has reached a stage that, calls for, more development. And I think it's about time that, we stretch, some of the activities outside Accra, so that, the city can be more, accessible, for the movement of goods and then people and then and services. We cannot continue, to have all these congestions, situated in the central business district of Accra. And so I subscribe, to the submission of Mr. Opoku, and I think it's about time, we all agree to this developmental agenda.
So why is it that the call for the movement of the spare parts dealers, why has it become a problem?
If you say it has become a problem, I don't know the problem that you are alluding to. I also double as the co-chairman of Abossey Okai Spare Parts Association.
Yeah.
And this hula baloo that we are, talking about, came from us as a result of the grievances and the requests that we put, to various aspiring candidates in the run-up to the 2020 elections.
Yeah.
During that time, various aspirants, the former president, His Excellency John Mahama, as well as the current president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, all paid, visits towards in their tour to the run-up of the 2020 elections. And as part of the grievances and requests that we put before them was this relocation issue, because you all agree with me. I don't know whether if you've ever visited Abossey Okai here, you agree with me that Abossey Okai is congested. Abossey Okai has been in existence close to about 35 to 40 years, and it started with just 2 shops.
Right.
And currently we have over 5,000 shops here. Each shops employ an average of 2 people. So 2 people times 5,000, we have 10,000 tabletop, as the minister rightly said. So put together, we have close to about 27,000 people, that operate in Abossey Okai here. Not to talk about those, who come to sell, foods and other stuff here. So it has reached a point that Abossey Okai is congested. People don't find it convenient to come and do business here. The place is choked, security-wise. It's nothing to write home about. So it's part of the grievances that we put before the aspiring candidates, and each of them promised that when they come to power, they will see what they could do, to help us in this direction. So the NPP came to power, and then the minister for Greater Accra, starts this Let's Work Accra, project, and as part of the project, we have had series of an engagement, with him, and he has promised that he will try as much as possible, to help us in that direction, so that we will have an ultra modern, spare parts hub, which will include not only stores alone, but workshops. That if you just buy your parts, you just walk in there and then have your vehicle fixed. And then we also have, bank facilities, hospitals, schools, and then they also try as much as possible to link a railway system from the port, directly to the place. So we think this is a good, project.
So you do not disagree to the proposal or the suggestion that you're going to be moved? Okay, so we're trying to have a discussion with Mr. Clement Boateng, who is the Vice President of GUTA. Are you back, sir? All right, so when we get Mr. Opoku back, he would, continue with the discussion. What is this? I know we have a special plan for Accra. Did we have a plan for the spare parts dealers within that bigger plan?
Let me say a little about what he was saying, that even if some of them have some difficulty in moving, it's understandable because they have been there for 30 years. Some of them may have even developed their properties around the area, so they are close to the point that in the morning a taxi or even walking to the place is not an issue for them. They can go. They may also be afraid that if they are moved, and there must be some satellite markets around them who are selling spare parts. If they are also not moved, then they will lose their market, and so on. So it will not be easy for anybody that just come and go, even though if we look into the future, it will be good for them to go. So, having said that, the other thing that we ask is that, did we have a space for spare parts, We, in the general plan of Accra, we have industrial areas. For example, Accra, we have industrial area where it was earmarked for industrial activities.
Right.
The Abossey Okai place, I'm not too sure in terms of figures how close they are to the industrial area, but it may have been that they settled there thinking that they will join the industrial area proper, so that their activities will be in tandem with the industry to which they are serving. But where they are now, as to whether they are close to the industrial area where vehicles are being manufactured or assembled, I'm not too sure about that. So there was a place earmarked for industrial area.
Which was where?
When we're almost down the end of the circle interchange, up there.
Is it the North
Yeah,
industrial area?
Yeah, there's an industrial area earmarked on the national plan, Accra plan, that this is an industrial area where when you go there, you see several industries working there, having their shadows there. But there are differences in industries. For example, the area, you go there, you may see latest foam, food processing industries, and so on. It will be different from spare parts industrial area. So when we are talking about industrial area, it's a big area earmarked for several types of industry. But industry, we have divisions where we are producing chemicals. It may not be necessarily good for where we are producing food. So we have to divide the place into zones. So the Abossey Okai area is an area where they were selling spare parts. That could be another spot for the industrial area, but separated from the North Kaneshi area where they were doing food processing and other production.
So, were there specificities in the industrial area when it was earmarked when we developed the plan for Accra? So, when we said industrial area, was it just generic industrial area? Weren't specific on what type of industries?
Well, when we say an industrial area, we could earmark, let's say, even 10,000 acres, but we have to go into zones. Mm-hmm. Probably zone 1, which is 2,000 acres, would take chemical production. It's still industry. We can take zone 2, which is car assembly. It's also industry. We can take another zone, depending on the sizes of the particular zone that we are coming. So you can divide that area into various specific industries, but all of them put together is an industry. For example, you can say that a place is a residential area. We can earmark a section for 2 stories. We can earmark a section for 3-story buildings, and so on and so forth. So industrial area is general industrial area, but when it comes to implementation, we have zones that tells which particular industry should be at zone A, zone B, or zone C.
So, recently Nanado mentioned something called industrial park. I think it was in the 2020 manifesto. What's the difference between the industrial park he was suggesting or he promised,
That's right,
and the industrial area?
It's semantics. It's a park or an area showing that you would have a specific sized area, whether it is 20,000 acres or 15,000 acres and so on. Then in that place, you are going to subdivide it further into zones, like you've been saying already, so that depending on the type and the types of industry that are going to go there, the LUSPA or town country planning people will go there and demarcate the area which industry can be close to the other one, because you can't put all industries closer to each other. So you have to divide it and say that, as we said earlier, zone A, which is about 2,000 acres, will go for a particular production. Yesterday or at the weekend when they opened this chemical production industry at Pram Pram.
The pharmaceutical.
The pharmaceutical thing. You may not be able to bring it close to spare parts dealers area.
Right.
But both of them are industries.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to zone the area into what should go this place, which is the next industry that is compatible to this in terms of closeness. So whether I call industrial area or industrial park, how are you going to subdivide it to each one accommodate each other so that the whole area? We will even bring in residential areas within that, because if we have about a 40,000 acre area, everybody cannot go and to collect in the morning, all the 40,000 people go back. We have to also zone a section for residency. So within the 40,000, 100,000 industrial park or industrial area, there will still be some residential section that people will stay and live there and walk to work. So the park meaning simply is that we have earmarked this area and say, put it down. You cannot do anything you like here. We are going to control the development in this area so that we will know which kind of synergies we are creating. And that is what we are going to have there.
So I'm told Mr. Alfred Opoku has joined us again.
Mr. Boateng.
Sorry, Mr. Clement Boateng, yes, has joined us again. Mr. Boateng, thank you. We lost you for a moment.
Yes,
So
yes.
continue what you were saying, and then I'll ask you follow-up.
Yes, so like I was saying, I told you earlier on that I really share in the same sentiment of Mr. Opoku, and then you came out with a follow-up question. So I was addressing the line, disconnected. So what I was saying was that it's about time that Abossey Okai, moves from here, because currently we think the place is congested, and then people don't find it convenient to come and do business here. Security-wise, it's nothing to write home about. So, like I was saying, it's a request that we put before all the aspirants
Right.
who visited us here prior or in the run-up to the 2020 election. The former president paid a visit to us. We put that request before him. The current president also came here. We put that request before him, and each of them promised that whoever assumes power, will try as much as possible, to address this problem for us.
So your request you put before them, what was the nature of the request like? Was it to improve the current area that you are and make it more accommodating, a more pleasant environment? Was that the request you made?
No, the current area that we have here, or the current situation that we have here, I don't know what can be done here, to improve the situation here. So we were thinking of a complete, relocation, so which could be more, accessible, which could be more convenient, which will get us a more parking space to our customers who comes to, patronize our goods. So it's a relocation issue that we were talking about, but not to do something to where we are applying our trade currently.
Which area did you have in mind then when you were making the request?
Well, we told them that if they could find us a more convenient place, because almost about 10 years ago, there was a plan, to move us to where we have currently the Pokuase interchange. But we think once that place has been, developed into a new area, we can no more, have that place. And so therefore, we told them that wherever that they could get for us that we think is appropriate and it will be more convenient for us, we don't mind to go to that place. So we didn't actually, tell them whether they should relocate us to maybe A or B, but we told them wherever that they could get for us that it will be convenient. We don't mind moving to that place.
Will you be okay if they move you to a place outside of Accra, to be specific?
Well, for the discussions that we have had with the regional minister, we are aware that two places have come out for discussion. One is the Afienya area that he mentioned, and then another area is also on the Accra in Sawam road. That is also has come into the discussions that we have had, so far. But well, preferably we would have wished to, be relocated to the one on the in Sawam road. But if that one don't come into play and they are able to secure the Afienya one for us also, no problem. We are ready for that.
So you would prefer the some area that's being proposed?
Yes, because with the discussions that we have had, these two places have come into play, the Insawam area and then the Afienya area. But preferably, we want the Insawam area.
Why?
Because we think that place is more or less closer to Accra. But you see, the Afienya area that the minister also, was talking about, he thinks they could easily construct a railway from the Tema Port to Afienya, so that when we clear our goods, then instead of transporting it by road, it will rather be transported by rail to that area. So that was the reason why maybe he thinks the Afienya is more preferred. And well, if that area also comes into play because of the transportation issue, I would think it wouldn't be much of a problem.
So that also is, a very laudable proposal to consider, not so.
Yes, yes,
Hold
yes.
on there. Let me just play a few bites from some of your workers at Abossey Okai and what they said, or how they responded to the attempt to move you from the current area where you are. Let's have that.
Plans are underway for the relocation of all spare parts dealers in Abossey Okai to Afenya. According to the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Henry Cote, who has initiated Let's Make Accra Work Again campaign, the government has secured a land at Afenya for the relocation to the Abossey Okai spare parts dealers. Well, we are here to find out from them what preparation are they putting in place to ensure for a smooth relocation to Afenya. I have with me here the chairman for the Spare Parts Dealers Association of Abossey Okai, Mr. Siao Ampedu, with me here.
Looking at the situation that we are in here currently, uh, uh, um, there is a demand that we have to have a better place to do our business. And over the years, we've been talking to the successive governments, including the NPP government, to give us a place that in future we can relocate this industry to that area. And I think about a year or two ago, we discussed this issue with the Honorable Henry Cote, that looking at the situation that we are in, we cannot afford to stay here, because if you cast your mind back 10 years back and you see the population here and you forecast 10 years from now, tells you that the size of population here will double. So do we need to stay here with this population or this congestion? And if you're a leader, you need to do something about it. That's the reason how we are liaising with the government to find a proper place for us, so that in the future we move to that place.
As it stands right now, we just heard the news. Though we are facing some challenges here in Abossey Okai, as in congestion problems, sanitation problems, and other related issues. But as to the relocating, is something that one will welcome it, but we want the right things to be done.
Okay, so largely, I think as you said, most of us in Accra agree that something must be done about the situation in Accra. As to how the right thing will be done, Mr. Boateng, I hope you're still there. So let me.
Yeah.
Yes. So let me come to you. So speaking with your people on the ground, they welcome the news, but the right things must be done. What are some of these right things that have to be done?
Well, if somebody says the right thing must be done, you see, one thing that people are talking about is they think it's a forceful ejection that the minister, and for that matter, the government is trying, to do, as maybe they did to the Abobloshe people. But we want to make it clear that it is not any forceful ejection. It is we, the Abossey Okai people, that put in the request, and then the government is trying to do its possible best and then accede to our request. So one that can talk about the right thing that my one of my colleagues said about, and also if he says the right thing must be done, it must be done that we will have engagement with our people. We have to do a lot of education and then sensitization. And people have investment here. People have put up shops here. So therefore, if we are going to move from here, what becomes of their investment here? We need to have a discussion about all those things and see possible best if we move from here. What are the facilities that will be living here? Going to be of what are they going to be? Are they going to be put into a different use or something of that sort? So these are the things that if he says writing must be done, these are some of the issues that we need to address before maybe we can move away from here.
I'll come to you about the shops, just in case they decide to build shops and bill you to, get a shop. Sometimes we receive complaints when they move them and then they build shops. Allocating the shops also become
An issue. Yeah. I'm glad this thing is coming out, as the discussion progresses. Choosing one place from another depends on a number of things. Let's say between Afenya and the Sawam area they are looking at. The first thing is, which area do you have sufficient land to scale up if you have to continue moving people there? If in Sawam is the best place they want now, how much land is available for the next 100 years? Because we can move and remove them again. Right, so scaling up will be a big
so that even requires a plan.
It requires a plan and requires a large area. If you have a plan and a large area in mind, and the people are going to move there, then you can know that this is an area I can get sufficient land to move them in, And then the convenience of that place in the national plan, in the Greater Accra plan. If we put the industrial area at Afenya or in Sawam, where does it fit into a plan that could be nice? Because anything we are placing on a plan.
I was actually going to ask you that, moving them to either in Sawam or Afenya, does it fit within the original plan that we have?
Now we are.
And do we have, even with the original plan, are there things that we have to change?
Yes. This Afenya thing and all that are additions that have been made. For example, in the original plan, these areas were still an open space that could be left for further development. So we are getting that place now. As we said from the beginning, when the industrial area was being earmarked at that time, when this plan was being made, 1990s, the industrial area was sited at the North Kaneshi. But now realize that the place is choked, Abossey Okai is choked. So let's find an extra space. Probably at that time when we were preparing that Afenya area, Shaiwo Sudoku area, where they are having now, was not even part of Accra AMA central planning. Now that has grown to become part of it. We are working towards that. In Sawam and the Aburi and Kasua has now been joined to Accra. So that now if you're talking about Accra planning, you have to add these three districts, which originally were not part of the Greater Accra thing. So population growth, development, and everything is bringing the other communities or district jurisdictions to be part of Accra, right? So when we talk about scaling and talking about how does it fit into a regional plan, then this will help you to decide that it will be better we go to this area or go to that area. But the point they are raising about, it looks like we are ejecting them. Probably that is the kind of thing they're talking about, the fact that there must be more engagement.
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
Yeah, he's saying that it shouldn't come as though they feel being ejected.
So now that they all agree, I'm glad they agree that there must be a move. There's a theory in planning that town planning is about people. And so they must be given the same care if we are relocating them the way we do to when we are transplanting a flower. If you are moving a flower from a pot onto the ground, you dig, you fertilize the area, you water it carefully. So the mayor, the political authority, should manage them as if we are transplanting a flower. That is, how much have you engaged them? What are their concerns? What are they requesting to be done? What are their fears? I said earlier that having stayed at a place for 30 years or more, even where they go to lunch, they know where they can find the best lunch they want. They know where they can get a place to rest and so on at Abossey Okai, in spite of the congestion they find there. The question is, when we go there, Are we going to get a place to eat, a place to relax? Will there be, something for us to talk about or sit down when the business has gone down, especially in the afternoon? So all these are things that must be considered and be put into the plan. That is why when you talk about the industrial park or industrial area, my information is that LUSPA, we used to call it town country planning, the LUSPAs at the national level, have been given the mandate, they've already finished, prepared a 10,000-acre land, which they have done the scheme. The scheme means that what we normally call is the plan. There are roads, there are, everything. Where should we put what? Prepared. In that, there's residential section, there is industrial, and again, let me
So it's like a city within a city.
A city within a city. They have prepared that. And so if the regional minister says, I'm taking you there, I mean, they are going to fit into a certain portion. In that place, there's the minister also even talked about an automotive hub, meaning that a time would come that all the assembly plants that are coming could even be sent there, so that if a Toyota assembly plant is there, VW, this, that, and then spare parts also are there, it means that once they move their spare parts, they are getting into the area without any difficulty. So there's going to be a synergy of activities. This runs with this.
In the factory and the industry at large.
That's it. So that what we call the economic turnaround time, when you get there and want a spare part, even there could be a section for fitters.
Right.
A fitter is operating about 10 yards or 10 meters away. He just walked to buy a spare part and go and fix it, rather than buying it and taking a taxi to go a certain far place. So that park is going to be so planned in such a way that you would find it easy to go wherever whatever you want to do. But the point they are making, which I emphasize, like the transplanting of a flower, the minister, the political authorities, the management of the whole thing should be such that let's move together. The politics and the those who are going to benefit from that. Again, the fear is that he was talking about 10,000 or 20,000 shops in Abossey Okai. They have registered them, they all have their names, they have their shops. We are going to move them to a Fienya. We get there, and people who are not even at Abossey Okai are getting shops, and they are not getting. Or there's a shortfall. Instead of 20,000, there's 15,000.
Which has actually been the tradition.
So all these must be taken into consideration. That we are not going to search change you. Everybody who is here registered as a member. Your association, bring the list. How many are you? These are the places you are going to give, so that everybody becomes satisfied. If that is not done, then you go there, and some of them will return, and it will cause a problem.
So I'm imagining an already set up place, like an industrial city, like I mentioned, a city within a city, where we have moved them like transporting or transplanting.
That's right.
And the pot is already there.
Right.
The flower pot is ready with its soil and everything prepared. So all you do is you lift the shop and then you place it in the new shop that you've built. So by plan, you expect that we should, if it's a Fienya we've chosen, we must have built the place.
Yes.
Before
It has to be. Here also the financing comes in. What is the government plan? Is he going to demarcate the area and say that this area can take, let's say, 40 shops? Is the government going to give them money to build a shop and pay later? Or these are the areas, plot 1, 2, 3 to 40. Guta, 40 people, take this place and build a shop. That could be another arrangement, a discussion. As of now, I don't think I know whether the government is going to build a shop for them to take it up.
Let me ask Clement about this. Clement, are you still there?
I'm there.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, so what's the plan like? I know that it's at the preliminary stages yet, but what's the plan? That is government planning to build the structures for you to move into, or we'll just allocate the land and then allocate spaces according to the numbers of the shops?
No, government is going to look up for an investor, and then the whole project will be financed by the investor. And then after the project is completed, The shops, will be allocated to us, and we will be paying by installment. That is how the arrangement is going to be. It's not like maybe government is going to give you 20 acres, the association build it by yourself and then share it to your members. No, the whole project, which includes workshops, like Mr. Opoku said, he didn't know, but the project includes workshop whereby if you buy your parts, you don't have to, go out from the vicinity before you go and repair your car. You buy your parts there. There are workshops which will be built. You just send in your car there for it to be fixed, and then after fixing it, you drive out. The project is going to include hospitals, banks, schools, police station, and a place also for those who sell vehicles. All those who sell vehicles within the city are going to be moved out to that place. So it's an ultra-modern project that is going to be financed by the government. And after the project is finished, it will be allocated to us, and then we will pay by installment. Well, when this talk started, we as leaders, we cannot do anything on their own. After every engagement that we have with the minister, we go back to our people, communicate to them that this is what the minister has said. What is your mind? They also give us their mind, and then we send the feedback, to the minister. As at now, I can tell you that even the preparatory work that we have done, close over 2,500 people, have registered that if the project is completed today, and then he said they should move, they are ready, to move. And people are registering day in, day out. You see, so that is how the whole arrangement looks like.
So you've already started registering your people
Yes,
in the
yes,
movement.
yes. The government also has to see our commitment. It's not that they tell you they are going to do something for you, and then you sit there, and then they don't see your commitment. They must know your commitment, and they must see that the project is a fruitful one before, if they also go ahead with it, they go ahead with it. So that is the situation now.
How soon are you going to move? Have they given you timelines yet?
No, if you listen to the minister said the project, if everything goes on well as planned, the project will start in the first quarter of 2024. 2024, and then it will take maybe 3-4 years before the project will be completed. So it's not something that we are moving maybe today or tomorrow. We have about 5-6 years, to plan and then move. Within which, by that time, we know that we would have gotten a lot of people, who would like it, to move. So if we say the project is completed and then we are moving today, it wouldn't be of a much problem.
Right, Mr. Clement Boateng, thank you. We'll leave it here. We have enough time to have some more extensive discussion on this development another time. And he's a vice president for GUTA, also representing the Spare Dealers Association, Spare Parts Dealers Association. Mr. Afedepoku, let me wrap up with you. So where do we go from here? 4 year, 2024. Why?
You mentioned we are getting investors to come in. It's going to be a huge money. And somebody must look at the economics of it, that I can make profit out of this. He must be assured that people who will come in will pay. There must be a guarantee that if I invest my money, so the association should have a very credible register, a record to show that if they must be held responsible, the leadership must be held responsible that whoever stays in any of the structures will pay. They must take all the guarantees. So when that is done, when all that paperwork is done, then construction begins. So the construction, if we're going to house about 20,000 people, shops in a schemed area, you need time to do that appropriately. Because eventually, you use a word, a city within a city. It's what we call a positive urbanism. It means that everything there is supporting the other to move properly. So the construction itself would be such that it should not be a thing rushing to finish. It should be something that at the end of it all is going to contribute to economic development. So it will take time. Once the money, all the software, the software aspect of it should be properly done. The paperwork, the association, sometimes you finish registering, they will submit a name, and the other people will come that we submitted our name, they didn't add my name. So the association should be sure that they are being credible in their approach. So that if they bring us 20,000 names and say these are our members, then the government cannot go around unless the government also wants to go around and register other people. That will also bring trouble. So let us be credible with each other. Bring your list, I'll take it and present it to the investor. He will come and look into our books and say that we are there. We send an MOU. The association will stand in and pay for anybody who takes the loan and so on and so on. So all this software will be done after that. Construction begins and remove the people there. But again, finally, the management. We should move them carefully because they are human beings, and that thing must be very prominent on the minds of all.
Like transplanting a flower from one pot to the other. I suppose. Mr. Alfred Kwesi Opoku, thank you so much for your time. And he is a policy advisor to the Chamber of Construction Industry and also a planner. Earlier on, I had Clement Boateng, who's the Vice President of GUTA. I am Ania Fampo. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon, Ghana. We're back at 4 with News Flash.